enthusiast with so many years, like more than 8 years on his back. He has reported more than 120 critical vulnerabilities. He has performed, I don't know, more than 200 pen tests, and also authored 2 books, one on iOS pen testing and another one on Wi-Fi hacking and security. So without further ado, Swaroop, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks for the introduction. And hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. So my name is Swaroop, and welcome to my talk, The Spy in Your Mobile. So let's begin. A quick disclaimer, all the views and opinions are my own and doesn't represent of the employer. So today, what we are talking about, we have very short time, but I'm going to present you something very interesting facts and interesting studies, which I'm doing from last couple of months. So first of all, we will quickly summarize the mobile hacking case studies, how the famous celebrities or people or the professionals' phone got hacked. And the couple of like spyware analysis, I had done comparison. I have done analysis of several spywares, and out of that, we will be presenting a couple of spyware analysis. At this point in this presentation, I'm not going to disclose any name of the spyware. We will just refer them as spyware 1, spyware 2, spyware 3. Okay, we have abstracted all the vendor names. And overall, how was the comparison between the different spywares based on different factors, and then the conclusion. There was already introduction, but I'll quickly summarize. I had the red teaming for the HackerU India, and previously I have worked in Philips Healthcare, Lithium, Traveloka as a security engineer or lead security engineer. I hold a couple of certifications. I have given talks in more than 10 countries, in more than 10 security conferences. Author of book, lead of OWASP SpyGuard project, which is dedicated for iOS application security. Okay, this is a free and open source project. As this is a relevant talk to the spyware, I just want to say I'm also lead for the OWASP project, which is dedicated for the iOS application level security. Okay. So if you summarize my background is not much into the malware analysis or not much into the like spywares. If you see all my career, all my industry experience, work experience, that includes application security, cloud security, or offensive security, or when I talk about the mobile security or the author of the book, which I have authored, they all talks about the application level vulnerabilities, like what is application sandboxing, the permission levels, the the security issues during the transit, dynamic analysis, or changing the application behavior. Everything about more specifically about the application security. Okay, and frankly, it's not related with the malware rootkits or analysis of that. Of course, I have the knowledge of it, but it's not in terms of professionalism. But until one incident, okay, when the pandemic started, right? It's been 2 years. It's 2 years. Everything has been changed. And 1 year back, almost 1 year back, in the midnight, I got a call from a friend. It was 2:30 a.m. around, and he was really frightened. And he said that his father's phone has been hacked. Okay, he was using the iPhone, and he said that his phone has been hacked, and the private photos are already with that person. They are blackmailing. The blackmailing is happening, and the passcode is also changed. Okay. And he asked me what to do, right? It was middle of the night, and I never had such experience in my life before that, because I was not into SOC team or something where you will get the incidents in the midnight. I was mostly in application. In more of the prod security team. So it was very unusual for me, and he asked me what to do, right? So at that moment, I was not sure, right? I mean, how his phone could have been hacked, right? I just suggested like what you can do at the best is you can switch off the internet in the phone, and you can stop the data transfer from the phone, right? I mean, if the data is being transferred, because your phone is hacked, or if the spyware is installed, what it will do is it will transfer the data from your phone to command and control center, right? So what I suggested, just to, at that moment, I just suggested he to switch off the internet, or maybe even switch off the phone until we get time to look into that. And that basically started my curiosity. Everything actually changed, like how I look at the things, because and then I started analyzing the different cases of how the famous people phone got hacked, how the journalist phones getting spied on, and most of the things about that. I then started doing the case studies. Like I started experiments on different spywares. I purchased a couple of phones, and it was really shocking for me. This is a whole new industry active in the market, and somehow I was not much connected to that. And then I started looking at looking at those spywares. And today, in today's talk, I'm going to present the ongoing research. It's not still yet completed. It's still in the progress, and it's based on whatever things we found, and they were really surprising. First, I will quickly discuss about the Jeff Bezos iPhone was hacked, right? It was an international espionage case. I'm sure most of you might have heard that his phone was hacked. He got even blackmailing emails, and he has basically described this in the Medium blog and everything on the online. Okay, so if you see how the Jeff Bezos phone was hacked, it was not like one incident. It was happened over the couple of years. So in 2017, it's based on the again the news. The initial case study that I'm presenting based on the news. So in 2017, the Saudi regime buys a Pegasus tree. It's a spyware. And in 2018, Jeff Bezos was invited for a dinner, and basically phone numbers got exchanged. Again, in 2018, he got the video on the WhatsApp, and from that, his phone was hacked. And in 2019, he basically announced that he was being blackmailed. His private photos was with the whoever has done the attacks, right? So, I mean, Pegasus it came into news. You can say recently, or in specifically in India and many other countries, it got highlighted in I would say 1 year or 2 year, but it's not the latest spyware. It's a bit old. I mean, it's the news came, the numbers which were being spied on came into the news recently, but it's not really new spyware. Okay, so just like how it was working, I mean, it was really one of the sophisticated, one of the, you can say, best of engineering on how this spyware was developed. Basically, if you understand, which I'm going to present the analysis on, most of the spywares which you'll see that you need to basically install that, you need to change the permissions, you need to do some tweaks. At least you need some access. You need access for phone for at least a couple of minutes. In that case, you can make some changes and the spyware triggers. But in this case, this was one of the, you can say, brilliant in terms of the piece of code. If you what it was a Trident vulnerabilities it was exploiting, but how it was working is very interesting. If you see in iPhone or Android or iPhone, all the applications works in the sandboxing, right? What is sandboxing is one application cannot access the data of other application unless explicit permission has been granted, right? But this Pegasus was, doing the jailbreak. Jailbreak is like rooting your phone, and it was basically, once you root your phone, it basically bypass all the security protections provided by Apple or your vendor, and you can basically do anything. I mean, you can check the messages and WhatsApp and whatnot. I mean, so It was basically it used the Trident vulnerabilities, the WebKit, memory corruption, kernel information leak, and kernel use after free. And this eventually lead to the jailbreak of the phone, and that was a with persistence access. It was a remote jailbreak. Okay, and ultimately it basically leads to the rooting of the phone. I have just show you a quick screenshot of how the routing actually looks like. If you see, I have basically logged into uh, iPhone with the root level access, and you can see almost everything here. I mean, all the files, folders, same like Linux or Unix based operating system. So I mean, it was very interesting. You might get one iMessage, SMS, WhatsApp. You can click on some video, and ultimately it can do everything. Like it can record your calls, access your calendars, contact book, GPS location, microphone, emails, WhatsApp chats, everything. I mean, it was. I mean, I will not discuss more about the political agendas or how the journalist phones were being hacked or other things. So I will discuss more about the technical things in this talk. So yeah, based on the proof of concepts, once you click on the link and it was basically giving access to all of your device. It was basically rooting your phone and then giving access to everything. But there were also some zero-click attacks where you don't really have to click on the link. Again, one of the very famous Skygo-free powerful Android spyware. It was mostly on the Italian websites. Okay, these are again some of the news from news snapshots. You can see that users are told that they should update the device configuration. It was mostly on the Italian websites, and then it basically it can add itself to protected apps list on the Huawei devices, and again it can do pretty much everything. Okay, it can again check your Wi-Fi. I mean, it can track you, your locations, WhatsApp messages, key logging, everything. And I have seen this industry has grown, you can say, exponentially from last couple of years and since the pandemic. Okay, and there are so many vendors out there which are having such products. Okay, so I wanted to start somewhere like because this is definitely a different line of research. It's a huge huge list of spywares out there, but I started with a couple of spywares like 10, 15. Most of them you have to purchase, like they have the premium. So I basically created a lab, and we had the couple of phones. I also involved a couple of my colleagues to experiment this, and we started playing around these spywares. And what I'm going to show you of the couple of the screenshots, like what exactly you can do. I mean, it was not very costly. The spywares which we tested, they were not very costly, but they've had a very, you can say, very powerful in terms of users. And we also tested on different antivirus software like Play Protect, or we installed a couple of antivirus softwares, and we also checked that how many antivirus were basically able to detect this spyware. And again, the results were surprising. Not all antivirus able to virus softwares or the Play Protect were able to detect all the spywares. Okay, and I have in the end of this talk, I will also discuss the like comparison. Okay, like what is the statistics and all. So you can see, as I said in the initial time of the talk, we will not talk about the vendors. We will just refer them as spyware 1, 2, 3, like in that way. You can see one of the spyware was very interesting. It was showing the Wi-Fi icon, right? I'm sure that the non-techie or even those who use day-to-day, day-to-day use, they use just phone for calling or messaging. They can easily click on this icon. Okay, this just shows as a Wi-Fi. And once you click on that, all those basically, all these spywares are very sophisticated client and server. So from the server side or command and control server, we are able to see everything like the phone calls, the messages. This is the dashboard of one of the spyware, like the GPS locations, call recordings, social media, right? And you can see everything like IMEI number, device model, hardware ID. It's all about controlling the phone from remotely. So you can see the top calling numbers, in like top 10 calling numbers, then which are the numbers they have called on, all the messages. I many times get so many calls. Like I work in like mobile security industry, that their bank account got hacked, or the money got stolen and stuff like that, and they said they had the OTP. Yes, because if your phone is infected with the spyware, right, even if you are getting the OTPs as two-factor authentication, it can still get those OTPs, right? So all the locations, you can just track the locations of that particular user. You can exact find that coordinates where exactly that person is. You can record all the calls on behalf of that person, and whatnot. You can enable the camera silently. You can check the WhatsApp messages, everything, Instagram messages. Okay. So it was not just for one spyware, and couple of, I'm not going to show you the 50 spywares in this talk, but I'm going to show you 2 or 3. But more or like they have, one of the way is like how to infect the target phone. And they had some different ways and techniques to infect. But once it infect, more or less, most of the spywares had the similar dashboards, like to control those devices. Again, one of these was Android Auto name, and you can see the call frequency, everything, like records around, remote control, call history, text message logs, right? WhatsApp messages, everything. I mean, the calendar also, like what are the different meetings, and I'm sure that this could be one of the way of industrial espionage, on checking things on the your opponents. And conversion threads, apps installed on the device. We can also uninstall those apps. For example, if some antivirus softwares are installed, we can actually also uninstall those apps. Screen time, right? So basically, we can study everything about that person without knowing them how it's happening. If you see in case of iPhone, if the phone is rooted in Cydia, there are hooks. Like if you can go to the, once your phone is jailbroken, you have the Cydia, and then you can install the hooks. Again, in that hooks, using hooks also, you can check what is that application is doing. I mean, we can easily use those hooks and attach to the applications, and then also we can check the application activity in the iOS or iPhones. The photo gallery, of course, you can download all the photos. You can clean the photos from the target system. You can keep the passcode also. I mean, we found very, very creative ways on how the spywares are designed. Okay. And again, the keylogger also you can do. You can also type the message on someone's behalf. You can record almost all the calls, right? You can record the surrounding, and you can also export the data. You can import it to some other device, right? I mean, pretty much you can do everything. And you know how much it costs. Like if you see the cost of these softwares or spywares, I would say is really, really less. I mean, anyone can just go and use this, and it's really scary. Yeah, again, one of these spywares also, right? I mean, similar dashboards to have them, all the messages, and many of these spywares, you know what, they advertise themselves as they are the child monitoring softwares or something, like, you know, it can help you to protect child, but I didn't see that it actually verifies that. I mean, nobody checks that if you're using for child or if you're using for some espionage purpose, right? And yeah, you can of course download the photos. Most of the spywares also give the messages from the Instagram, Tinder, Facebook, Twitter. I mean, they have the access to almost all the apps on the phone. And as I said, command and control, you can turn on the Bluetooth, you can turn on the location, you can turn off the Wi-Fi, key recorder, whatnot. So, and this is a comparison, okay? We checked with many antivirus softwares. And we checked, it's, as I said, the research is still in the progress. You can say just some of the part which is about to happen. And many of the spyware doesn't require root access because they use explicit access permissions on the phone. But it just, you need a couple of minutes. And a couple of spywares were smart enough. They exploited a couple of zero-day vulnerabilities to get them into the approved list of the apps, right? So you can see, I just presented the comparison of 5 spywares, and you can say that as of now, whatever I checked on, it's mostly for the Android, and for research for the iOS is also in progress. And you can see that a couple of antivirus were not able to detect certain piece of these spywares. There are also other spywares which I'm working on, which are completely, you can say, hidden. I mean, they will not. They were not detected by most of these antivirus softwares which are available for the phones. Okay, which I might present in the upcoming talks. So yeah, that was. I mean, that is bit. You can say this is one of the very growing industry. And with they are making lots of easy to infect. Mostly they advertise themselves as a child monitoring, but nobody cares if you are using it for child and if you're using for, for espionage purpose, right? So yeah, these were the references for my talk. I think, yeah, we're almost done with the timing. So these are the references. Citizen Lab, based out of Canada, is they are doing lots of research in this, mostly with the journalists, like the phones whose journalist phones which are being hacked, or even into the politicians, right? So they have very good resources, and these are the couple of resources I used. Thank you for everyone for inviting me, and this is my website, and you can just contact me for any questions you have about the ongoing research. You can just visit the swaroopyersy.com/contact, and you can ask me any question. So I guess, yeah, that was all for this very short talk. I hope it was very useful. It was introductory and useful for the audience. Yeah, if we have time, I can take questions as well.
Yes, let's give people a couple of minutes. Thanks, Swaroop. Let's give them a couple of minutes. If you want to come up with some questions. I just have one curiosity. When you show the dashboards like of the spyware, were you trying those spywares like on your mobile, like on your network, or this is something outside from some lab in the internet or something?
No, so basically I have purchased like 3-4 phones, like the brand new phones, and we have created this lab. I have given this to my phone, and we are to my friends. And we are basically experimenting this, like it's all the, we are not trying on the people, but it's all the brand new phones. We are acting that we are a normal people who clicks on the WhatsApp link, YouTube links and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't see there is any question so far. So if you have any question, if you want perhaps, later, you can write in the channel. The Sagrada Familia Slack channel, and I'm sure Swaroop and he will be there to answer. So again, thank you very much again.